Fabulous evening and welcome to all of you to our webinar series on online school admissions 2021. There are two major challenges that mankind faces today. Number one is finding the right life partner. Number two, guess what? It's probably finding the right school for your kid. I'm sure that all your parents are on the same page with me and you completely agree. It's completely justifiable because we are going to be pledging 14 years of our kids' life on the campus that we're going to be putting our kids to. And we've all gone through these episodes of anxiety and anxiousness, trying to figure out the first time school for the kid, trying to look at various options, sites, etc., etc. In fact, I would say the very inspiration for our product School Skies itself has been to streamline the online admission process, to make it very convenient for the parents, or to make it completely digital for the school. So that's been the inspiration for School Skies in itself. And I would say we've been quite effective at that. And we've done close to 1 lakh parents have passed through this portal. And even schools as far as in the north, Sholto, have taken to online admissions completely digital. And that I would say is quite heartening for us. And on that note, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the audience out there on behalf of School Skies and APJ Consultancy. So this is Dr. Pravina Jagdish, founder of School Skies, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you all on the portal today. So to set the context for the meeting, we would have 3 sessions today. Firstly, it would be a very spectacular success story, that of Athena Global School, Cambridge School. And to talk about that, we have Mrs. Josephine Anthony with us. She will share her secret sauce for her school with us today. And our second speaker would be Dr. Ajit Prasad Jain. So he would be answering the most wanted questions on admissions, what to look for in schools and what parents should look for, how schools should take in inputs for digitization on admissions, etc. And lastly, I'd like to put in my thoughts on digitization of admission process, the entire admission process, and what is the digital edge a school can get by opening up their online admissions. So with that, let me take the pleasure of welcoming Mrs. Josephine Anthony, Principal of Athena Global School. So Mrs. Josephine Anthony is a very seasoned educator with 2 decades of experience in education, and she is a very eloquent speaker, trainer, and she's worked intensely with the United Nations Youth Millennial Goals. Currently, she's the principal of Athena, and she's very, very proud to share that her school and her team has won 2 awards in just less than 3 years. 1 award for excellence in digital and co-curricular education at LROC, and another award for best co-curricular school and top international school by Education Today. So I'm sure, ma'am, we've got quite a digital leader in front of us today, and it's quite a pleasure to have you. And having met you, I know you inspire a lot of other teachers out there in your campus. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you, ma'am, and we are eager to hear from you. And over to you, ma'am. See you.
Thank you so much, Pravina, for that introduction. It was indeed a pleasure. Hello, everyone. Good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you. I have been with Athena for the last 3 years now and hope this awareness session for admissions, especially for the new parents, is worthwhile. The pandemic has affected all our lives across countries, across domains. There is so much of stress, anxiety, loneliness, loss of jobs, and there is so much of negativity. But I would also look at the positive side that pandemic has worked. It has worked as a catalyst for the educational institutions to grow and offer new platforms, explore new techniques that has not been explored in the past. The education sector is still fighting to survive the crisis with different approaches. Digitization, which is a new learning for all the facilitators. We are in fact every day trying to strive hard and make things better so that the children can understand the content better and it reaches the children in a very friendly and easier ways. And as today's topic is all about admissions in 2021, it's a great responsibility because parenting always brings in a great deal of responsibility. As she rightly said, that we always look for what is best, for our children. We always are inquisitive to, venture out, spend time on that. Some of the parents do spend a lot of time. Some of them just end up putting their children in nearby schools. So before you select, this is very crucial decision for any parent, because it builds a strong foundation which will put him or her on a lifelong path of learning. So we are parents should look at certain perspectives before they venture out to find out the best schools in and around. First thing, all of you, most of the parents, I would say, would consider is proximity, because the closer it is, you can rush to the school in case of emergency. Academics, there should be, I mean, that the learning should be in such a way that it remains as an experience throughout the learning period in the formative years through the high school. So you look for schools which drive academics, but not as a rote learning experience. Now, a lot of schools offer extracurriculars as well, and there is a wide array of them. Make sure that these are part of your school hours, because it develops in shaping up the child's personality. It develops inner talents of a child. It develops creativity. It develops public speaking, leadership qualities, which almost all the parents look for. Also, kindly look, I would put this question to you as parents. Would you want your child to be in a school where there is a ratio of 60 students to a teacher, or where there is a manageable strength? Because manageable strength, the facilitator can cater to the individual needs of the type of learner that they have in the classrooms. So it is up to you to decide. And hygiene and environment is not only about looking at the vicinity or looking at the way the corridors are. Kindly check if the toys, any of the material that the kids use, the furniture, even if they are being cleaned on a regular basis, as this plays a major part in keeping your child's hygiene with the pandemic situation as well. Discipline, that is something that people have different definitions for it. For me, discipline is not about setting your child in a chair and saying listen to the teacher. It is more of what a quality your child imbibes and takes it as a responsibility for his or her actions as they grow up. So this is something that we should look at. The management is the workforce, all of you know that. Make sure they have relevant experience in the field of education, and also look at the quality of the teachers that the school has, because teaching and learning is ever evolving process. So ensure that the school has been organizing regular workshops for teachers, training them, keeping them up to date with whatever is happening, whatever changes are being about in the academic front, getting digitization, trying to teach them with social emotional training sessions. All these help a lot when your child reaches such a school. And during this pandemic session, many of the parents who usually approach me, they are worried about 1 year lost. Especially they come and ask me, ma'am, will my child lose out on 1 year? Of course, because if the child has not been attending classes for the whole year, somewhere you cannot put the stress on the child. So the child already has enough on the plate with the stress that is going around, without having time to play out with friends and other things. So do not stress out by skipping a class for them. That is something. Other general things that parents might look out is cleaning, disinfecting, monitoring, hand washing, group size inside the class, whether the teacher can move room to room rather than children moving from corridor to corridor, not sharing their meals. These are a couple of things I suppose parents would expect when the school reopens after the pandemic time. Yes. The pandemic has led us, the mass to transition into virtual. It has been helpful not only in terms of organizing a class, but also we are able to conduct extracurricular classes. We are able to, give away their online assessments. It has been very helpful in one way. Though I am little against screen time, but unfortunately this is the need of the hour, and we have all transitioned very well because of my team of facilitators were cooperative enough to do so. And we were able to complete the admission process, as Dr. Praveena was saying, that because we have expats, we have parents across India calling us and asking how do we finish the admission process. We usually tell them that go online, fill up the application. Once we shortlist the application, we have an online assessment for the children in terms of English and math. And once it is done, we send them the results along with some feedback, and payment link as well is available online itself. So majorly, everything was done online without any physical contact, which was required at this hour. And all was possible only because of School Skies, because a big round of applause to that, creative thinking, I should say, because where we started off, we used to stand in queues for application forms. From there, you see within few minutes, a parent calls up and says, I'm done with the application form. What's the next process? So that is the stage that we have reached to. So obviously online, yes, definitely there are pros and cons for everything that comes up, but it has helped a lot of people during this non-contact times that finish everything online itself. So that is something that I wanted to bring it to your notice, that we are all online, the classes, admissions, applications, everything. That is only because of one app solution for us. The answer she will give it to you, I think, in a couple of minutes. Yeah. And if I ask what is, ask myself, how does Athena stand out in the education sector? See, as a regular school, we also give academics, non-academics, co-curricular, extracurricular, whatever it is. But I'm proud to say that I have a very friendly staff, because Praveena would agree to that. When she walks in, right from the corridor to the sub-staff, everybody is, very approachable. Not only that, Athena caters too much of in-depth concentration on social and emotional building, because nowadays children, they come from a nuclear family, so it's very difficult for them to teach about sharing, to resolve their own problems, how to when they come in contact with others, how they are supposed to behave themselves, non-verbal cues, verbal cues, whatever you talk to the children, all these are not possible. So school should take up this responsibility, I feel, and we genuinely do that. When a child comes to us, we go down to their level and try to understand why the child is upset. In fact, we do not force a child to finish the homework or classwork at the time. We ask the child, if you're not interested, will you do after half an hour or 1 hour? And the child says, okay. So we come in terms and condition with the child because of the lower students, teacher ratio that we have. So all this helps for a child to grow in the future, because everybody will agree with the statement that I'm about to, share it with you. Our children that are future of India, embracing the nuances of human emotion as they reach their workplace. By the time they reach their workplace, can have lot of pragmatic benefits in their lives. So I strongly feel that we need to build such citizens who are little empathetic towards the society, empathetic towards each other, so that the future generation of kids find a better place for us. So that, I think that's all from my end. Everyone stay safe and be happy. And we are virtual, so everything is possible online. Yeah, over to Praveena.
Thank you, Josephine, ma'am. That was wonderful. Thank you for the very kind words on School Skies. It definitely means a lot to us that we are making a difference to many schools like you. And I just have one thing. The most striking feature for me when I entered your school was absolutely this one thing. You have a very, very young, dynamic team of teachers, extremely friendly. So I wanted to be a student there to that extent. So as a leader, how did you create that team? I mean, it was so joyful to see them running around, helping me set up things. I mean, it was a joy to be there. So how did you build that team? I mean, that's something everybody should know.
No, it's all about experiences, 22 years I've been, to be more precise, in the education field. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, when you bring everybody together with the same emotion and same kind of expectations or the feel of the school that is required to be created, they all gel well with as a team. I think. I suppose that is possible with anybody and everybody around. Yeah.
I guess it is your leadership and I think like more like what you said, emotional and the social aspects
Correct.
that put it.
Correct.
There's a buy-in. All the stakeholders are at the same pace. The thinking is the same. So that I think great recipe for your success of your school. So thank you for being here with us, and I wish Athena Global a fantastic journey and a long time to see with your school skies as well. So we should grow as a team. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
So we will, yes, so we'll quickly move on to our second speaker for the day, Dr. Ajit Prasad Jain. So very little introduction is needed for Sir, and Sir is more so a parent guardian. He doesn't just solve the students' problems, but he also solves a problem, and he's pretty much my go-to whenever I have trouble with kids, or like we ask Sir, how to handle kids also. So he's very good with the kids, I should say. Apart from that, of course, Sir is the ex-director of CBSE, and he's been a national awardee, quite a walking encyclopedia. And he doesn't speak from theory or books, and he just speaks from experience. So I think that makes it all the more interesting. So, Sir, we have lots of questions for you, but we've curated that, made it into a small bunch of questions. So I'll probably start with a very generic one. I think Josephine ma'am also said her point of view, but we like to have yours as well. So what do you think as a parent I should look for before I put my kid into a school, the KG level today as of 2021? Tell me 3 or 4 things, sir. Important ones.
Sorry to interrupt, sir's mic's on mute.
Sir, you're on mute, I guess.
Actually, if you asked me this question last year, my answer would have been different. Now this year, my answer will be something added to the answer what I would have given last year. First thing is they should see what is the proximity, as Principal Madam mentioned. The proximity of the school and the house is the first priority, because today's transportation scenario, it is very unsafe to send the children in an auto with this 10 or 15 kids or 20 kids in a van, etc. So it should be very near to your house. That is number one. Number two is the recognition and affiliation part of the school. And number three is the academic excellence of the school. Now I would add one more point after this COVID. So whatever I given the answer in the previous points are all before COVID. Now this is after the COVID. So today now every parent should look about what is the IT infrastructure every school has got to satisfy the needs of the children and to satisfy the norms of various boards and the state government. So because the online class is going to become a part and parcel of our life hereafter. Now the children have get used to it, parents have get used to it, and teachers have get used to this. Definitely management, the principals and the management are not going to spare the teachers, even if the regular school is going to happen. Definitely there will be some session on online classes. Therefore, the school should be able to handle this scenario. So the last important point what every parent should look upon should be how well the school is IT enabled. That is the most important point in today's context.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So we would encourage the audience to put in their questions as well. So Ajit sir can take it as up, and anything else could also be put on the FB comment section. Well, so that was very well said on digitization and the other things, but I think parents should be on the know on the selection criteria, like probably the CBSE mandate. So how do schools apply? What's the selection criteria that schools apply? Are there a set of 4 or 5 things that they go by when they're taking the kids for admissions based on the board? Could you elaborate on that, sir?
Actually, it differs from board to board, school to school.
Okay.
I don't want to mention the name of the school, a very famous school in Chennai. Both the parents are doctors. I'm talking about 10 years back when I was the principal of Bhavan Rajaji Vidyashram Kilpar. So one parent came to me and he said, I said, why you are coming all the way from there? You have a very eminent school next to your house. They said, sir, we applied and during that time the interview was there. So both of us went for the interview, and then they asked our qualification, both the father and mother, and both of us are working and who are all saying with you all the questions they asked. And finally we got rejected, though we are both of us are educated, etc. And then when they went and asked the principal why my child was not selected, the answer was, both of us are working and nobody at home. So who will look after your child when we give you homework? So that was the answer given by that school. So therefore now after the RTE 2009 has come into effect, the most important criteria is the distance between the school and the parents' residence. That is number one. Number two, if is there any sibling in the same school studying. And number three, if they have two kids and they applied for a second kid in the one school and the elder one is studying in some other school, no school will prefer to give the second kid a new kid in the school because they will try to bring the other kid into the school. So therefore the already a lot of pressure on the other class admissions, and there is no TC from each class. So therefore they don't want to, because once you admit this kid, then you will become an existing parent. Then you have got every right to ask for admission for the other kid. So therefore the second major criteria is how about if they are applied for the second kid, and they will look up on which school the first kid is studying. So the sibling criteria is most important. And thirdly, again, as you said, earlier there used to be interview and we used to see the pronunciation part and then observation part, all that. Now after the RTE has come into effect, there is no scope for the interview. So therefore it is only based on the verification of documents, date of birth and the residence proof. So today's contest, mainly the selection criteria is based on the distance.
Well, so it's the distance, alumni quota, and I guess it's the sibling quota.
Yes, alumni, and yes.
Sibling quota. Well, sir. So, sir, just for the benefit of audience, I'm directing most of the questions from the parents in the initial stages, and then later on I will go to the questions that benefit schools, sir. So the next thing is, sir, how do parents decide on the board? There's always a confusion. Is school, distance, infrastructure, all that is fine. So what is the difference at the KG level, whether I should choose CBSE, metric, IB? I think that is a bit of a confusion for the parents.
As an educator, my perception is up to 5th standard, the board is not going to matter, whether it is an IPA or ICSE or a CBSE or a state government.
Okay.
But the practical difficulty is if you keep a child in a state board or ICSE up to 5th standard, LKG to 5th standard, and you want to move the child to a CBSE school in class 6, then getting in the middle of the academic year, the middle of the session is very in between classes, getting admission is very difficult. Therefore, the child should start his career schooling right from pre-KG or LKG, right from the day one in the same school. And in the perception of an educationist, what is my suggestion is, what I'm seeing is now after the introduction of NEET and also after the NTA has been formed, National Testing Agency has been formed, which is conducting the entrance examination for IIT and also for the medical. And also there is a move from the central government very soon, maybe in next year or very soon, they are going to bring a common examination like CAT for MBA, common examination for arts and science colleges also across the country, irrespective of the university what the college is affiliated. So in that case, in that scenario, naturally when NTA, which is the National Testing Agency meant for the entire pan-India, so this testing pattern will be based on the NCERT syllabus. And the CBSE is a board which exactly replica of the NCERT syllabus. But whereas the state governments, whether it is Tamil Nadu or Andhra or Maharashtra or West Bengal, they have been given a choice to modify here and there. Therefore, there may be some modifications, omissions and additions in all the subjects. Therefore, in the longer version, benefit of the children in the years to come and what the central government is going to make policies, CBSE or ICSE, a national board will be better. And IB, if you are going to study your undergraduation, post-graduation in India or going abroad, then IB and IGCSE are better board is my opinion. It's my personal opinion.
Yes, sir. Okay. So another thing is a lot of parents are shifting in the 11th standard from metric to CBSE because in the view of NEET and JEE and all that. So will these kids be able to cope when they switch boards? Is that trend still there? Coming
from state board to CBSE, coping up is a little difficult because the questioning technique of CBSE is different from the state board. Mm. Here, there is no scope for rote memory, and there is a HOTS higher order thinking skill questions is there. So therefore, my advice is not to switch from state board to CBSE from 11th and 12th. If you are decided that the child should study 11th and 12th in CBSE, better shift him in 8th standard or 9th standard.
Well, okay. So there's just another small question from the parents. So given situation for KG, should parents consider homeschooling? I mean, a few of my friends have themselves done that. So I'm just looking for your opinion on this.
See, the present scenario across the world, everything is available online. Everything, the degree is available online, diploma is available online, and very soon online coaching centers are available. Online tuition classes are available. Students, those who are in UK, the commerce teacher or a commerce science teacher is taking class from here in India. So therefore that online is going on. So therefore very soon we are going to have homeschooling. It will take some more time for the Indian parents to accept the concept of homeschooling in India. But definitely it is going to be the future. There is no doubt about it. But LKG, UKG, it is a habit formation stage. As an educationist, my opinion will be they should be allowed to mingle with the other children, and then only they will get the give and take policy and how to adjust with the peer group, all that. But sitting at home and doing homeschooling, they'll be only having academic knowledge. They may not have social knowledge. So therefore, for the KG level, I don't recommend homeschooling.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite true, sir, because you need that pure connect and emotional and social bonding at the early stages. So, sir, so I think that was from
already it is almost 95% of the families are having only one child, a single child family. So there itself it is already pampered child. So if you are going to keep at home and give homeschooling, it'll become too pampered. Definitely it'll become too pampered. He has to go to school and he has to fight with his classmate and he has to, when they go into the activity room, the toy what this child is having, they have to give to the other child, and they have to take the toy what is that child is playing. So that give and take policy, all that should come in the child. Therefore, for KG, I don't recommend homeschooling.
Homeschooling. Okay. So I think that was a few questions from the parent side. So moving on to the perspective of school. So what is that school should, when they start implementing admissions or opening up their admissions, what is that the school owners or the school administrators should keep in mind? And at this point, is personal verification necessary at all? That's the question that we have.
Some schools started doing personal verification. Even when I was the principal, I used to verify the personal verification, address verification, all that. And it is also because parents, those who are living far away from the school, they are purchasing a house or a small flat nearby school and taking the address proof and applying and getting the admission. But settling down in the faraway place and try to send the child in the car to the school. Therefore, the transportation in and around the school, that is also a major problem for every principal. And they're getting shouting from the neighbors, and also lot of traffic jam outside the school. Everything is happening. That is why in the beginning itself I said the criteria for selection is distance. So therefore, in some cases, the personal verification will benefit the school and also benefit the parents.
Okay. So another great challenge that school faces today is, to improve their admissions, to increase numbers and to retain students. So any suggestions from your side on that, sir? Keeping in mind that Bhavan's had roaring numbers. I still remember those thousands and thousands of applications that we used to get.
Number one, the success mantra of Bhavan School and myself, I was known as the open door principal. Even Sunday, half a day, I used to sit in my office, and any parents walking into my room, and I used to chat with them and then discuss the problems with them. So therefore, number one, the administrator should be parent friendly. That is a major criteria. Number two is the teachers should always respect the feelings of the parents and try to give the answer for the queries. I know there are silly questions may come up, I'm not denying that, but we are at the giving end, so we have to be very calm and quiet and address all the issues. And second thing is the connection between the communication between the school and the parent should be very transparent and should be very open, and it should be very frequent, because 99.9% of the parents, both of them are working, and they do not have time to come to school and find out what is happening. So therefore, the communication, better than me, because we have experienced and we have experimented a lot of software. We introduced the Glassboard, then we introduced Yammer, and finally we introduced Yammer, which was a great success. And our school name has gone up only because of after introduction of the Glassboard, which was very interesting part, and a lot of appreciation from every corner. And then we have introduced Yammer, which is also taken very well by the parents. Therefore, the communication between the school and the parents should be pakka, and these are the 2 points the school should look upon.
I completely second that thought. That I think the communication part has to be a bit open and available. The parental criteria should be that information should be available to them. So I completely second that. And sir, has NEP got any impact on admissions this year, at least currently, or can we stall that?
No, current year there is no problem, but what I am expecting is there are two aspects on NEP. One is they have done grouping of the classes. Now they brought pre-KG, LKG, UKG, first and second as one sector, and 3, 4, 5 another sector, 6, 7, 8 another sector, and 9, 10, 11, 12 another sector. Now the middle twos are not going to be affected, but the first one, 5, and the last 5. The schools which do not have pre-KG, now they have to think whether to start pre-KG also in the school during the year 2022-23, because NEP is going to come into effect from 22-23. Okay. And they have brought in the pre-KG, LKG, UKG also into this regular stream. Before NEP, there was no concern about the preschooling, LKG, pre-KG, LKG and UKG. Now that pre-KG, LKG, UKG has been brought into the system, so the school should look upon whether to start pre-KG also in the school, so that first 5 classes, pre-KG, LKG, first and second, pre-KG, LKG, UKG and first and second will be together. So that is another challenge for the school management, because they may have space, they may not have space, all that they have to look upon. And the last 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, there are a lot of schools are only up to 10 standard. Now that they say 9, 10, 11, 12 will become one sector and it will be divided into 8 semesters. So every secondary school or high school, in CBSE we call secondary school, in state government they call high school, they have to upgrade themselves to 11th and 12th. They have to start 11th and 12th. So therefore, the question of effect of NEP, yes, there is going to be effect on the schooling. Number one, schools, those who do not have pre-KG, they have to think of starting the pre-KG. And schools, those who do not have 11th and 12th, they have to think to introduce 11th and 12th in the school. These are the 2 major impact of NEP on the school admissions and school administration.
Okay, so on the hindsight, I think this would help school administrators to plan better, at least for the next following academic year.
Yes, 22-23.
22. So, sir, one last question. Probably this is your concluding answer as well. So, what should schools focus on? Is it the brand name, the culture, or the academic profiling? What do parents look for, and where should the schools focus?
It is very difficult question to answer. Whether you like your left eye or right eye, which one is important for you? Which is all 3 are important, and most of the there are some certain set of parents, those who give weightage only for academics, and there are some parents, those who welcoming the schools move on encouraging co-curricular activities, and there are some parents, they want both. And I wanted to share an experience here. When I was the principal, and a civil servant who admitted his daughter in the school from LKG, the moment the child came to 5th standard, he wanted to take away and put him in some other school, which is known only for academics. But you know, Bhavans is known for all-round development of a child. When I questioned him why you want to take, no sir, there are too many co-curricular. That time it was called extracurricular. Now only we call them as co-curricular. There's too much of co-curricular activities. So I want my child to concentrate only on academics. Therefore, we have different scattered set of parents. Those who want only academics, those who want only extracurricular, those who want now most of the parents now they are looking on the physical education facilities in the school. They give more weightage for sports. They give more weightage for sports. So therefore, it is very difficult to say which one the school should prefer or which one the parents should prefer. It's all depends upon individual perception of the parent, both the father and mother. So somebody wanted to have only a branding name, somebody wanted to have only academics, somebody wanted to have only extracurricular activities, somebody wanted to have the school which is encouraging sports activities. Therefore, the present generation of parents, the young parents, those who are both of them are working, they wanted to bring up the child as a multi-facet personality, right? So therefore, in my opinion, a parent should look about all these criteria, not only the brand, not only the academics, not only the co-curricular, not only the sports encouragement. So they should look about which school is giving importance with all this, not mainly for only one thing, but for all this. So this should be the criteria for parents to choose.
Very, very nice, sir. So I think it's a very common thing that we should look. The winning strategy is to have a mix of everything, and in fact, the right mix. A school that is very close to our home, probably, and these are the things that will actually matter when we put our kids in the school, I guess. So thank you for those very nice, simple yet very welcoming inputs that you've given us, sir, especially to the school administrators on the NEP part, the pre-KG, the 11th and 12th. I think it was very useful for all of us. And so thank you once again, Dr. Ajit Prasad Jain, sir, for that. And now, audience, so we will quickly move on to my part of the presentations, and it is going to be very, very brief. So what is the power of going virtual in your admissions? So how do we create the digital edge for your school, and especially when you are starting from the admission stages? So please allow me a moment to share this PowerPoint. Okay, yeah. So I think the very major challenge that any school faces, or very important, profound criteria for the school is, like I said, number one is to increase admissions. Number two is to retain admissions. And typically, I think it is the joy of having more and more students in your campus and the joy of providing the best of education to them, which is any educator's goal. And so how do we use virtual admissions, especially at this juncture, when we have the pandemic in and no contact process, in how do we use that? So what is going to be the impact of COVID or this current situation on school admissions? So the most important thing is going to be to increase your online presence, online processes, and completely reduce in-person contact. So forms and all other documentation submitted online is a big boon for the school. So also enabling the digital classes, even the parent engagements, parent orientations virtual can be a big savior for the school as well as the parents. So enabling blended learning and pre-recorded classes can come in brilliantly for the KG students in time. So apart from that, even result announcements, parents don't have to wait in queues to come over to school to understand whether they've selected or make inquiries on the phone. So all this can be avoided when you go completely digital. So overall, in a nutshell, it is about giving a digital edge to your schools, starting from your admissions to your TC. So to explain what School Skies as a school management solution does is, we are an A to Z solution. So starting from your online admissions till the child gets your TC, we can handhold you digitally. But as per today's topic, would like to focus more on the online admissions and 2 or 3 simple best practices that other schools are putting forth to enable their admissions. So apart from that, we are also Microsoft partners, so which means that we enable the Teams online classes.
Excuse me, ma'am, your slide is not moving.
No?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you please share the full screen?
Yeah. Is it on Parents Advantage?
Yes, can you please go to full screen?
Full screen. Is it on advantages of virtual admissions?
Parents
I can see parents advantage.
Okay. Okay. So apart from that, what is the major advantages that you get when you go online? So one is it's a contactless admission process. So there's a reduction in the time spent by the parents coming to school and the school administrators. Of course, there's a lot of saving on the paper, the process, and the entire process of admission, inquiries, and all that. Most importantly, the data is stored digitally. So there's ease of access whenever the school wants it, And another advantage to the parents is there's no touting of contact information. So everything is verified. So only the proper parents can apply to your school. So when you're going digital, all of this is streamlined. So in short, there is a good structure to the school. So I would want to show you this thing. So this is a 9-step process where we enable the entire school admissions online, where we send in a proper verification code. So there is no outsiders who are going to be applying or unnecessary applications that you will be entertaining as a school. So this is typically the admission form for Athena Global. So they've also put in their, like what Ms. Josephine was sharing, they've also put in their settings. That is what they would want, whatever is their uniqueness, or what is their instructions to the parents can also put in for the settings. Parents' details is submitted completely online. Apart from that, the address, the community proof. So this is what I was talking about contactless. When you submit your documents in a PDF form online.
Ma'am, please move on your slide, ma'am. Please make your slide a slideshow.
1 minute, I just. Yeah, is it okay now? I'll just do the small screen.
Yeah.
Let it be a small screen is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now we are able to see parents' advantage.
Yeah, that's a slide I'm talking. So that's about, this is the typical way that Athena Global has gone online with their 9-step process, where you collect all the documentation also online. In fact, the photographs of the kids, the photographs of the parents, everything is downloaded. It's completely online. So there is no question of any verification or parents coming in to drop in the admission forms or even get admission forms. So this is again another Bhavan's school admissions. They have not begun their admissions, but they have put up in their website. This was a previous year where they also follow the typical 9-step process where they collect all the info online, including the details on alumni, the sibling quotas, the community, even if it is RT. The documents are scanned. The instructions are given much advanced. So it's put up in their website and they scanned and they're all sent towards the school. So it's a digital format, and this is completely pulled into the portal where the administrators can streamline the process. So that is an advantage. And when you talk about the school's perspective, so the main challenge for the school is to structure or streamline whatever applications comes in. So what happens when you go digital is the entire list of students that's applied is pulled in. The entire registration list is here, and you can kind of sort that out. How many people are approved, how many are pending. You can also kind of gather information on the gender, religion, community. And now that the distance criteria has become important, you can select students who are close to your school. So all this is a very great advantage when it helps in putting forth your selection criteria for the school. So that apart, the schools can also announce the results online. So it can be through the portal, it can be through an SMS or an email, and we can also have an app intimation sent to the parents. So again, saving a lot of trouble for the parents as well as the school. So it's a very seamless process, and it's all done in one go, which makes it very easy. So I would be very happy to and delighted to share that we've been doing the admission process for close to 5 years, and like I said, 1 lakh parents have gone through the portal, and this has saved a lot of stress for the parents, especially coming and standing in the queues. And from the administrator's side, a lot of time and stress and money is being saved. And very happy to share that even schools farther in the north, like Jindal and Sholto, two very signature schools like Bhavans and DAV, have been taking the online route. And online means it's just not a jot form in the website that the parents have to download, fill in and give it back, but it's a complete process. From the PDFs of community certificates to their address proofs, everything is in a PDF and in a software format given, and even the results is announced through the same portal. So that kind of makes it very, very easy for the school as well as the parent. So, and for the convenience of parents, we have done a little bit of homework on school admission dates and criteria. So we have listed that on School Skies portal. So we would, kind of encourage you to look at schoolskies.com website. So most of the admission details are there, and we will be uploading a little bit more as and when we get info. But of course, you will have to go for the admissions directly through the particular school's website. So with that, apart from that, as far as the educators are concerned, yes, like what Dr. Ajit was saying, today IT infrastructure and digitization has become of paramount importance when we consider schools going online. So it is important that it's starting with online admissions till TZ, we take the digital route. So we do conduct a lot of educational sessions and best practices and certifications every day at 5 p.m. So it'll be great to have all of you, your team, joining us for those webinars. And you can also inquire with our team for your online admissions enablement. So we'll be happy to and glad to help you on a trial basis. So you can call out at 999-402-1195. And any doubts, Ajit sir is always there. You can write to ajit@apjedu.in, and of course school support at schoolskies.com. So you can take a snapshot of this, and probably you can write to us, and we would be very glad to even consult with you on how we can make things better as far as admissions is concerned. So again, I thank all of you for joining us today, and I thank Dr. Ajit Prasad Jain and Josephine Madam for their valuable inputs on what parents should look for admissions and how schools should also handle admissions. I think it was pretty much valuable. There were a lot of good takeaways, and thank you all once again. And I'm just leaving the session open to any question and answers here. So if there is any questions from the audience, Pavitra, you can probably post that to sir or me.
I don't think any question is there. No questions.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So I think, ma'am, anything from your side, ma'am?
No.
Okay, thank you. So probably we just take one group pick and then we're good to go. So Pavitra, can you help me with that?
Yeah. 1 second. So I'll end the live event for now.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you. Even the